Welcome to Basic Electrical Engineering. In this lecture, I will discuss about the operating principle of synchronous motors. So let's start. The synchronous motor is an AC motor in which at steady state the rotation of the shaft is synchronized with the frequency of the supply current. The rotation period is exactly equal to an integral number of AC cycles. The synchronous motor contains multi-phase AC electromagnets on the stator of the motor that creates a magnetic field which rotates in time with the oscillations of the line current. The rotor with permanent magnets or electromagnets turn in step with the stator field at the same rate, and as a result provides the second synchronized rotating magnetic field of any AC motor. A synchronous motor is basically a double excited machine because the stator winding is fed by the three-phase balanced AC supply and the rotor winding is fed with constant DC supply. Here we must remember that like synchronous generator, in case of synchronous motor also, the armature windings are placed in stator and the field windings are placed on rotor. A synchronous machine is an AC machine which satisfactory operation depends upon the maintenance of the following relationship. That is, Ns is equal to 120 F upon P or F is equal to P into Ns upon 120. So as the machine is working as a synchronous motor, therefore the speed of the rotor will be Ns, that is called the synchronous speed, and it will be 120 F upon P, where F is the frequency of the supply in stator and P is the number of pole in the stator. So Ns is the synchronous speed in RPM, F is the supply frequency in Hertz, and P is the number of pole of the machine. The synchronous motor provides two important functions. The first is it is a highly efficient means of converting AC electrical energy to the mechanical energy. That is the basic purpose of a motor. And second, it can operate at a leading or unity power factor and therefore provides the power factor correction. So synchronous motor is a special type of motor which at a particular condition can draw the electrical power in leading power factor or it may be at unity power factor. Let's see the construction of the synchronous motor. Like synchronous generator, the main part of synchronous motor is also consists of the stator and the rotor. But unlike other machines, in most of the synchronous motors, the field exciters are rotating. That means the field windings are placed on rotor, and armature coil is stationary. That means the armature windings are placed in the stator. Here, the armature windings means three-phase stator winding. So, unlike in other machines, stator of a synchronous motor is not meant to serve path for the magnetic flux. Instead, stator is used for holding the armature winding. The stator core is made up of lamination of steel alloys or magnetic iron, that is to minimize the eddy current losses. The stator winding or the armature winding, remember one thing, the energy conversion, that means in case of motor, the electrical energy is converted to the mechanical energy, and this energy conversion takes place in the armature winding of the machine. And in case of synchronous motor, the armature windings are placed in stator. There are two types of rotor used in synchronous motors, like synchronous generator we have already discussed. These are the salient pole and non-salient pole or cylindrical type. So in this figure, the first one is the cylindrical type or the non-salient type rotor. Here the air gap between stator and rotor is uniform. And the second figure, it is the four-pole salient type rotor. So these are the poles of the rotor. And here we can see that the air gap between the stator and the rotor is not uniform. The three-phase balanced AC supply is given to the stator or the armature winding, and DC supply is given to the rotor or field windings. So the cylindrical type rotor or the non-salient type rotor is basically used for the high-speed applications, where the salient type rotors are used for low-speed applications. So let's discuss the type of the synchronous motor one by one. So here is the first one, that is the salient type synchronous motor. In salient type pole motor rotor is used in low and medium speed motors. So this is the structure of a salient type rotor. This is the main body of the rotor where the poles are projected. In this case, there are four number of poles. This is also called as the projected pole type, as all the poles are projected out from the surface of the rotor that we can see in this figure. The poles are projected outside from the body of the rotor. The poles are bolted to the rotor on a magnetic wheel. So these poles are basically bolted with the structure of the rotor. These poles are also laminated to minimize the eddy current losses. It is not a solid structure, rather it is the laminated thin sheets, that is basically to reduce the eddy current losses. The pole face has been given a specific shape. The field winding is basically provided on the pole shoe. The synchronous motor featuring this type of rotor are large in diameter and short in axial length. That we have also discussed in synchronous generator. The structure of the salient type rotor is such that the diameter of the rotor is very large, whereas the axial length is very small compared to the cylindrical type rotor. The limiting factor of the size of the rotor is the centrifugal force acting on the rotating part of the machine. That means uh, if the rotor is rotating with a high speed, then due to the centrifugal force, there may be damage in the poles. Therefore, these type of rotors are basically used for low speed applications. So as the mechanical strength of the salient type pole is less, therefore they are preferred for low speed motor ranging from 300 rpm to 50 rpm. So this is the range of the speed for which the salient type rotors are used. The prime mover used to drive such rotor are generally the DC machines. It is not the water turbine. This is basically used for the synchronous generator. It will be basically the DC generator or specifically the DC shunt motor. Why the prime mover is required, that we'll discuss later. Next is the cylindrical type synchronous motor. This is also called the non-salient type or non-projected pole type or round rotor. So here is the structure of the cylindrical type rotor of a synchronous motor. This type of rotors are used for high-speed applications, especially in case of turbo machines. This rotor consists of a smooth, solid steel cylinder having a number of slots to accommodate the field winding. These slots are covered at the top with the help of the steel or manganese wedges. The unslotted portion of the cylinder itself acts as a pole that we can see here. So here there are number of slots and the field windings are placed here, and this part is basically used as a pole of the rotor. The poles are not projecting out, and the surface of the rotor is smooth, which maintains a uniform air gap between the stator and the rotor. Because the shape of the rotor is cylindrical, therefore the air gap between the stator and the rotor is uniform. This rotor have small diameter and large axial length. If we compare with the salient type, here the diameter of the rotor is less, but its axial length is very large. These are designed mostly for two poles or four pole machines, which run at a speed of 3000 rpm or 1500 rpm respectively. This is to keep the peripheral speed within the limit. The main advantage of this type is that these are mechanically very strong, thus preferred for high-speed motors ranging between 1500 to 3000 rpm. So here we can remember that the speed of the synchronous motor is 120 F upon P. In India, the frequency is 50 Hz. So it is 120 into 50, and the number of pole minimum will be 2 because it should be the integer, it should be in even numbers. Therefore, if we calculate, we'll get 3000 rpm. That means the speed of the synchronous motor in India is 3000 rpm maximum speed. We cannot get more speed in India because the frequency of the India is 50 Hz. Now the stator and the stationary armature winding in synchronous motor. The stator in the synchronous motor is the stationary armature, and the armature winding means where the energy conversions take place. That means the electrical energy is converted to the mechanical energy in case of motor, and mechanical energy to the electrical energy in case of generator. This consists of a core and the slots to hold the armature winding, similar to the armature of a DC motor. The stator core use a laminated construction. So here we can see the thin sheets of the stator. They are made by thin laminated sheets. So this is the stator structure. These are the slots where the three-phase armature windings are placed. It is made by the silicon steel stamping insulated from each other with varnish or paper. The silicon steel is basically used to reduce the hysteresis loss, and laminated sheets are used basically to reduce the eddy current losses. The laminated construction is basically used to keep down the eddy current losses. Whereas for a rotary armature, there will be the large brush contact drop at higher voltages. Also, the sparking at the brush surface will occur. As we have already discussed in case of synchronous generator, that the armature in case of synchronous machine is basically placed in the stator because there are various reasons. First is the armature winding is three phase. So three phase armature winding with insulation will be heavy in weight. Therefore, if we put the armature winding on the rotor, then the inertia of the rotor will be very high. As the armature winding is placed in stator, therefore there is no requirement of the brushes to give the power supply to the rotor armature or to take the induced EMF from the rotor armature because the armature is placed in the stator. If we use the brushes, then for high voltage there is a chances of sparking. So that is avoided in this case. Next point is the during the operation, the heat is produced in the armature winding because of the flow of current. So this heat can be easily dissipated if we place the armature winding in the stator because the circumference of the stator is much greater than the rotor. That's why in case of synchronous machine, the armature winding is always placed in the stator. It is the three-phase balanced winding, and the field winding is placed in the rotor. The field exciter winding is placed in the rotor, and the low DC voltage is transferred safely. In case of synchronous motors or synchronous generator, the field winding is placed on the rotor where the DC supply is given. Due to this DC supply, a constant magnetic field is produced, and the voltage of the DC supply is fixed. It should not be changing. It will be a constant DC supply voltage, and the value of the voltage is very low. It is around 220 volt or 110 volt, and so on. The armature winding can be braced well so as to prevent the deformation caused by the high centrifugal force. Again, this is another point. If the armature winding is placed on the rotor, then during the rotation there will be the centrifugal force. So there may be a chances of deformation in the armature windings if we place the armature winding on the rotor. But as the armature windings are placed on the stator, then this type of problem does not arise. The main features of the synchronous motor. Here it is the schematic of a synchronous motor. Stator, where three-phase AC supply is given. This is the rotor. A salient type two-pole rotors are shown here, where a constant DC supply is given. Usually, its construction is almost similar to that of a three-phase induction motor, except the fact here we have to supply the DC to the rotor. Now let us first go through the basic construction of this type of motor. From the picture, it is clear that how we design the type of the machine. That means uh, here we can easily understand the construction of a salient pole synchronous motor. We apply the three-phase supply to the stator and DC supply to the rotor that we have already mentioned. So the main features, the synchronous motors are inherently not a self-starting machine. So they require some external means to bring their speed close to the synchronous speed to before they are synchronized. As the name of the machine is synchronous motor, that means this motor can run only at synchronous speed. That means whether it is loaded condition or no load condition, the motor will run always at a synchronous speed. Otherwise, it will not rotate. The speed of operation of in synchronization with the supply frequency, and hence for constant supply frequency they behave as a constant speed motor irrespective of the load condition. That we have already discussed. The speed of the synchronous motor depends upon the supply frequency and the number of pole. And if the supply frequency is constant and number of pole is constant, then the value of Ns will also be constant. So whether the machine is loaded or it is running at no load condition, its speed will always be equal to the synchronous speed. Otherwise, the motor will not rotate. And the motor has the unique characteristics of operating under any electrical power factor. This makes it being used in electrical power factor improvement also. That we'll discuss later in this lecture, that at a particular condition, the synchronous motor can operate at leading power factor. It behaves like a capacitive circuit. That's why sometimes this type of machine is also considered as a synchronous condenser. So by changing the magnetic field, that means the excitation, it is possible to operate the synchronous motor at different power factor, even at unity power factor also. So now the operating principle of the synchronous motor. The synchronous motor are a doubly excited machine that we have already mentioned. So two electrical inputs are provided to it. Its stator winding, which consists of a three-phase armature winding. Here we provide the three-phase supply to it. and DC supply is given to the rotor winding where the field windings are placed. So here this is the electrical circuit of the stator and rotor are shown. The three-phase stator winding carrying the three-phase current produce a three-phase rotating magnetic field. The rotor carrying the DC supply also produce a constant flux. So when the three-phase power supply is given to the stator winding, then we already discussed in case of three-phase induction motor that due to the three-phase balanced supply, the resultant magnetic field will be rotating in nature. So here also a rotating magnetic field is produced in stator. Whereas when the DC supply is given to the rotor winding, then a constant magnetic field is produced there. This three-phase supply induces the north pole and south pole on the stator. The three-phase supply is sinusoidal. The polarity of their wave changes after every half cycle, and because of this reason, the north and south pole also varies. Thus, we can say the rotating magnetic field developed on the stator. The magnetic field developed on the rotor because of the DC supply. The polarity of the DC supply becomes fixed, and thus the stationary magnetic field develops on the rotor winding. The term stationary means their north pole and south pole remain fixed. The polarity will not be changed. Now, the speed at which the rotating magnetic field rotates is known as the synchronous speed that we already discussed. We already know this value. It is called the synchronous speed, ns. The synchronous speed of the rotor depends on the frequency of the supply and the number of pole of the motor because ns is equal to 120 F upon P. So this is the formula of the synchronous speed, where F is the frequency of the supply and P is the number of pole in stator. So when the opposite pole of the stator and rotor faces each other, the force of attraction occurs between them. The attraction force develops the torque in the anti-clockwise direction. The torque is the kind of the force which moves the object in the rotation. Thus, the pole of the rotor drag towards the pole of the stator. After every half cycle, the pole of the stator is reversed, and the position of the rotor remains same because of its inertia. The inertia is basically the tendency of an object to remain fixed in its position. This is called the inertia. So when the like pole of the stator and rotor faces each other, the force of repulsion occurs between them, and the torque developed in clockwise direction. That means in the opposite direction compared to the torque produced in the earlier cases. So let's understand this with the help of the diagram. For simplicity, consider the motor has two poles. So in the figure, the opposite pole of the stator and rotor faces each other. So the attraction force developed between them. So look at this picture. Here it is the stator where three-phase AC supply is given. So a rotating magnetic field is produced which rotates in counterclockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Here it is the rotor, a salient pole rotor where two pole machines are there. When the DC supply is given to the rotor winding, a constant magnetic field is produced. So this is the south pole and this is the north pole of the rotor and it is fixed. Whereas the uh, stator is given by the AC supply. So the AC changes with respect to the time in sinusoidal way. Therefore, the polarity of the field winding field is also changes periodically. So consider a particular situation where the north pole of the stator and the south pole of the rotor are face to face. So therefore there will be the attraction on the rotor because of the north pole in the stator And similarly, the attraction force of the north pole of the rotor because of the south pole in the stator. And because of this attraction, the rotor will try to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. The rotor will try to move in this direction, in the direction of the attraction. But after half cycle, the pole on the stator reverses, and the same pole of the stator and rotor faces each other, and the force of repulsion now develop between them. So after half cycle, because the polarity of the magnetic field in stator changes sinusoidally, so after half cycle, the pole in the stator will now changes to south pole. Previously it was the north pole, now it will change to the south pole. And the rotor south pole is also there, so there will be a repulsive force. And similarly here. So as a result, now the torque will be developed in the opposite direction because the magnetic field is continuously rotating in anti-clockwise direction. But because of this position of the magnetic field in stator and rotor, a repulsive force will be developed on the rotor and the rotor will try to rotate in opposite direction. The time which requires to change the north to south and south to north, that can be easily calculated, as we know the time period is 1 upon frequency, that is 1 upon 50. So it is 0.02 second. So one complete cycle is developed in 0.02 seconds. Therefore, in 0.01 second, the polarity changes. That means after 0.01 seconds, the polarity of the supply changes. If it is positive polarity, then after 0.01 seconds, it will be negative polarity. Then again after 0.01 seconds, it will be positive and so on. So due to this very small time duration, the rotor cannot rotate in any direction. Initially, when it is the north pole and it is the south pole, the rotor will try to rotate in this direction because of the attraction. But, but at the rotor start to rotate, then already 0.01 seconds pass, and now this north pole will be changes to south pole, and this south pole will now give the repulsive force on the rotor. So now the rotor will try to rotate in clockwise direction. Now again after 0.01 seconds, the polarity of the stator will be changes. Now again it will be changes to north pole. So this frequent change in polarity of the stator, the rotor cannot rotate in a particular direction. So basically the rotor will be continuously vibrating in its position. So no unidirectional torque will be developed on the rotor. It will only pulsate in its position. And because of this reason, the synchronous motor is not a self-starting machine. So the synchronous motor is not a self-starting machine. Therefore, how the machine will start? The motor starting with an external prime mover. This is one type of method to start the synchronous motor. So here the synchronous motor are mechanically coupled with another motor. Normally the DC shunt motor is used here as a prime mover, which is used in case of DC synchronous motor. It could be either a three-phase induction motor or DC shunt motor. Normally DC shunt motor is preferred here. Here we do not apply the DC excitation initially. That means we will not supply the power to the rotor. First of all, the rotor will be coupled with the prime mover, that means the DC shunt motor, and it rotates at a speed very close to its synchronous speed. That means uh, the DC shunt motor, external DC shunt motor is coupled with the rotor, and this DC shunt motor will now make the rotor to rotate at a synchronous speed in the same direction as that of the rotating magnetic field which is produced in the stator. Now, once the rotor starts to rotate at synchronous speed or very close to synchronous speed, then the DC excitation is given to the rotor windings. That means now the magnetic field will be produced in the rotor. So after some time, the pole of the stator and the rotor pole of the rotor will interlock each other. That means there will be a condition when the south pole or the pole of the stator and opposite pole of the rotor will be face to face. So there will be attraction between this magnetic field. Now remember the magnetic field in the stator is continuously rotating, but the rotor is also rotating with the same speed by the help of the DC shunt motor, that means a prime mover. So therefore there will be an interlock between the stator and the rotor magnetic field. Now the rotor will start to rotate at the speed of the rotating magnetic field, and we can say it is the synchronous speed. This condition is considered as the synchronization. That means when the rotor will start to rotate at the synchronous speed by the help of prime mover, and there is the interlock between the stator and the rotor magnetic field. This situation is considered as a synchronization. The speed of the motor is fixed and the motor will continuously rotate at the synchronous speed because there is the interlocking between the stator and the rotor magnetic field. So once the synchronization achieved, then the external prime mover is disconnected from the rotor and the rotor will continue to rotate because of the interlocking with the stator magnetic field. So basically the stator magnetic field will make the rotor to rotate with a speed which is called the synchronous speed. That means the speed by which the stator magnetic field is rotating. So for starting the motor, the rotor is rotated by some external means. That is the prime mover. This is shunt motor. And thus the polarity of the rotor also changes along with the stator because initially the rotor is rotating continuously by the help of prime mover. So there will be some time it will require for the interlocking with the stator magnetic field. So this is the concept of the operation of the synchronous motor. We can explain it again. The three-phase AC supply is given to the stator winding. A rotating magnetic field is produced. Now the rotor is coupled with some prime mover, normally the DC shunt motor, and the DC shunt motor will make this rotor to rotate at a synchronous speed in the same direction as that of the rotating magnetic field. Once the rotor rotates at a synchronous speed, then the DC supply is given to the rotor winding, so the magnetic field will be produced in the rotors. After some time, the magnetic field of the stator and the magnetic field of the rotor will be interlocked with each other. Once this situation are achieved, which is called the synchronization, the prime mover is disconnected from the rotor and the rotor will continue to rotate because of the interlocking with the stator magnetic field. As the stator magnetic field rotates at a synchronous speed, therefore the rotor will also rotate at a synchronous speed because the rotor is rotating due to the interlocking with the magnetic field which is produced in the stator. So this is the operation of the synchronous motor. Let's see the applications of the synchronous motor. The synchronous motor having no load connected to its shaft is used for the power factor improvement. That means when there is no load connected to the rotor and we run the machine at overexcited condition, then the synchronous motor will draw the leading current from the supply, like a capacitor. So this type of motor is basically used for the power factor improvement in industries. And this type of motor is also called as synchronous condenser. Owing to its characteristics to behave at any electrical power factor, It is used in power stations in situations where static capacitors are expensive because capacitors are used to improve the power factor, but we can use the synchronous motor also as a synchronous condenser to improve the power factor. Synchronous condenser means when the synchronous motor runs at no load condition and overexcited situation, it draw the leading current. This is considered as the synchronous condenser. Usually, these motors are used for applications where precise and constant speed is required because, as we have discussed, the synchronous motor can run only at a constant speed, and this is the synchronous speed. That means the motor will rotate either at synchronous speed or it will not rotate at all. The low power applications of this motor includes the positioning machines. These are also applied in robot actuators. Ball mills, clocks, record player, turntables also make use of the synchronous motor because all these applications require a constant speed. Besides this, motors are also used as servo motors and timing machines. This is also the application of the synchronous motor. That's all. Thank you.